Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Black Swan Graphene's channel at the forefront of bulk graphene development. Joining us to discuss some of the recent news, a lot of pivotal, interesting things to discuss here. We got CEO Simon to kind of just walk us through this. First and foremost, welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure to get you on. I want to get into this, kind of break this down and simplify it a bit for newer audiences. But first and foremost, more intriguingly, Black Swan Graphene announced shipment for an industrial park concrete pour, which was consisting of 180 tons. Do you want to discuss what this means for Black Swan and including the supply chain behind this?
Yeah, of course. So this particular shipment that we announced, like you said, was graphene to be part of a concrete pour for the construction of an industrial park in southwest England. And like you mentioned, this was the first shipment of the big strategic partnerships that we announced just recently. To remind you, we did a strategic equity swap with Nationwide Engineering, which takes our graphene and has a technology or a know-how and process on how to inject the graphene appropriately in concrete. And then there's also a partnership with Arab, which is an enormous engineering and construction firm. They have a total of 18,000 engineers. They are behind a lot of very large infrastructure projects, and they have developed a know-how on how to design buildings and projects using this graphene enhanced concrete. So after we announced that, the shipment that you're referring to, this was the first commercial shipment that we made after this news.
Yeah, I think these are some incredibly pivotal steps forward, and kind of breaking into the second half here. I mean, Black Swan Graphene's product increases abrasion resistance by as much as 80% in thermoplastic polyurethane. Do you want to explain what this means for newer investors and just kind of simplify it a bit for us?
Yeah, of course. Abrasion resistance, the way you measure this is you basically take polymer, which we boost with graphene, right? I mean, graphene is as simply as an additive into plastics, into polymers. So abrasion resistance that you're referring to, so we just take this enhanced polymer, and with the wheel, we get it with friction. We see how resistant the polymer is and how much polymer is removed through that friction. So the more resistant the polymer is, obviously, you increase the life cycle of any product that will use that specific polymer. Our graphene also performs extremely well, not only to improve the abrasion resistance, but also the elongation, for example. So that's particularly useful for packaging, which is an enormous market for polymers. And also it increases the hardness of the polymer, of the plastic. And that's especially relevant for lightweighting application, right? If you're going to make a car lighter so that the battery lasts longer, well, if you replace metal parts with plastic parts that are very, very hard, that helps a lot. So our graphene, our bulk graphene, is especially suitable for these types of applications.
I appreciate these insights. I know I've touched on this before, but just as a follow-up question, do you want to talk a little bit about the economics and the pricing of those polymers as well in kind of a competitive market?
Yeah, absolutely. So the value proposition behind Black Swan for the polymer and concrete market is that our processing technology, which is behind our graphene products, is able to produce bulk graphene at a very low cost. So obviously the cost will go down keeps going down as we increase our production. And not only our graphene brings a lot of new life or new markets for not only concrete but polymers, but it also reduces the cost. So graphene will help you lower cost on the concrete side by removing rebar, using a lot less material, and also increases the lifespan of the product. And same thing for polymers; it replaces other additives. Generally speaking, there's always a trade-off between the cost and the performance, right? But but generally speaking, you are able to not only increase the performances, but lower the cost of your product as well. So that's what we're moving forward now. So obviously we're making these strategic alliances, which gives us visibility on the market, on the demand for our product. So one of the point to expect going forward will be the publication of our scoping study. So currently, what we are finalizing is to establish exactly what the demand is going to be. Demand, real demand coming out of those strategic partnerships. So once that will serve as the final input on the size, on the scope of our scoping study. Which will be the primary design for the much larger operating facility that we're looking to put together. So that operation will be designed based on what we know we can sell. So we already established a big high-profile strategic partnership for concrete. And currently, we are working with a customer for new applications in polymers as well. And our goal is to line up the same type of high-profile partnership for the polymer industry. Again, making sure that what we produce, we can turn into money.
I appreciate these insights, and I'll pass that question off to the viewers. We'd love to know what you think in that comment section below. Consider subscribing as well as the news hits the wire. We're going to continue to update you here. But on that, as always, we look forward to catching you in the next one.